What happens if we just start making stuff up? What happens if we just, out of the blue, just make up some random nonsense about Kamala Harris? Just for some context, there's this weird online troll belief, joke, rumor, I don't really know what it is, about JD Vance that the left is like super excited about for some reason. When JD Vance was picked as the vice presidential nomination for Donald Trump, obviously, a lot of people started digging into what J.D. Vance was all about. It's no secret that he wrote this book, Hillbilly Elegy, best-selling book. Ron Howard made a movie about it, celebrated by people on the lefty side of the aisle as somebody who is actually a rags to riches story. But now that he's Donald Trump's VP/running mate, well, we just have to hate him, said the left. But the way that they hate people nowadays is just, for lack of a better term, weird, because after JD Vance was announced, there started to bubble up this online, I don't even know if you call it a rumor, it's just a flat out lie, that in JD Vance's best-selling book, Hillbilly Elegy, he talked about how he, and I hate to even give this any airtime with how ridiculous it is, JD Vance, according to a bunch of crazy people on the internet, wrote in Hillbilly Elegy that he had marital relations with a couch at one point. Now, of course, that's not true. None of that is true. They just made it up. The problem is a bunch of people believed it and then started joking about it to the point where it's become this big thing on the internet that lefties all joke about, which again is weird to me because it's fun to joke about things that are true. We make fun of, on the right, a lot of the stuff that Donald Trump does. We call him the Tangerine Tornado. We make fun of his hair sometimes, but it's all in good fun, and those things are more or less accurate. But this thing just isn't accurate at all, which makes it even weirder that when Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, governor of Minnesota, was first introduced as Kamala Harris's vice president, he made this really weird joke, effectively nodding to a completely made up lie about his opponent. Watch this.
And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So, you see what I did there?
Look, I can laugh at jokes at the expense of the people that I like, but what's weird is when the potential vice president of the United States is joking and a crowd just erupts with elation about something that just it's not even a spin piece. It's just flat out not true. That'd be like if somebody said, well, JD Vance thinks the sky is, I don't know, made of Swiss cheese. Something ridiculous. And then you joke about it and everyone goes, ha 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 ha. Like, there are funny jokes to be made at JD Vance's expense. There are funny jokes to be made at Trump's expense. But instead, when riling up the crowd, you go with some weird, just not true thing and then have the audacity to call Trump people conspiracy theorists. Look, and the thing is, I don't even know if he knows that it's not true, because heavyweights inside the Democratic Party were echoing all of this. David Axelrod, who is a serious person, at least I thought he was a serious person, ran Obama's campaign, is a very respected political strategist, tweeted, this vice presidential debate will be between the coach versus the couch, which is like, dude, you guys are... Make fun of something that's real. JD Vance gave you the whole cat lady thing. Like, I don't think that's a problem, but you guys do. At least he actually said it. Don't be making these wild, crazy accusations that just aren't even true. I don't think it helps your side to begin with. And two, you need to draw a limit of some sort of decency. I've been talking about this for a while now, of the left's ability to just lie to people's faces. And I'm not talking about spin, because everybody does spin. I understand spin. And people say Donald Trump lies a lot. It's like, okay, well, no, he's presenting an argument that you don't like, and you call it a lie. What I'm talking about is just blatant factual lies. Like, I am a 2005 Ford Mustang. No, I'm not. But they'll say stuff like that that's just flat out not true. It's not even spin. It's not advocating for your side. It's just flat out inaccurate. And apparently they make jokes about it to a crowd that cheers wildly. At the very least, at least somebody has some sense of, I don't know, journalistic integrity. This is Jake Tapper, who I know a lot of people here who are listening to this are going to say, fake Tapper. No, but he brings up a good point. He's like, what are we doing at this point? And what's even weirder about this is listen to what his panelists say when there's some pushback from Jake Tapper. Watch this.
So let me ask you a question, because there's this, I'm hesitant to even bring it up, but there's this gross online smear about J.D. Vance involving couches, okay? And the only reason I cite it is because Governor Walz made a reference to it during his introduction speech yesterday.
And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That
Look at how
is,
the crowd
if
erupts.
he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So,
A clear reference to this gross smear. So, I mean...
Okay, so sorry, just really quick. I want to hone in on this. Make sure you listen to what his panelists say. They basically, spoiler alert, go, it's fine.
Whatever happened to Michelle Obama's when they go low, we go higher?
I think Democrats have abandoned that a long time ago. Look, I get it. Politics is a brutal sport. This is like a boxing match, and we're trying to see if we can get the knockout first, and they're trying to do the same. And let's see what happens in November, Jake. But I'm not surprised by it.
What do you think?
I love Michelle Obama, but she's not in this race. They're running against Donald J. Trump.
Okay, maybe I have too high of expectations for people. It's like a boxing match. We're trying to get to the knockout punch first. Okay, but you brought a machete to the boxing match. That's not in the rules of boxing. That isn't in common human decency to not just make stuff up and pretend that you've done something. Look, again, like I said, there are knocks on J.D. Vance. The whole cat lady thing. Go run with that. Do whatever you want. I probably wouldn't like it or necessarily think it's funny, but I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. That's fair. He said that. He said that on a thing that is actually a real thing that happened. But again, beating a dead horse here. But holy cow, was I naive in the sense that I at the very least thought a lot of people were in it for a good faith argument. Anna Kasparian on the Young Turks has been big on this on the lefty side of the aisle. It's like, at the very least, like, have real conversations. Don't just make stuff up out of thin air and pretend that you've done something because you haven't. And ultimately, at the end of the day, a lot of times people, and by that I mean voters, are dumber than you'd think, but also smarter than you'd expect. And right now, we're in a dumber than you think period. We'll see how this all shakes out, whether or not just flat out blatant lies about stuff is not, people are going to have to pay a price for it, or they won't. But at the end of the day, too, I also think, one, reality bats last, but two, people are smarter than you'd expect. And so ultimately, I don't think stuff like this is going to go in the Democrats' favor to just make stuff up. Because what happens if we just start making stuff up? What happens if we just, out of the blue, just make up some random nonsense about Kamala Harris? Like, what happens? And all of our side believes it. I don't know. But if that's, I don't even want to get there. My original thought is, do we then go play dirty too? I still say no. I still say the opposite of what Michelle Obama says regarding the sides. When they go low, we go high. Yeah, that's what we've been doing for a long time. I still think we should do it. I still think conservatives should show some amount of moral integrity and decency, but it gets really, really difficult with crap like this spouted by the guy who might be the vice president of the United States.